Hey, hello everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas for my Brit friends out there. And this is TMI, Too Much Information, live with Moondog, who is I. And we have a special guest tonight. But before we get over to him and the special topic tonight, which is music, jazz, Christmas music, I just wanted to introduce our sponsors for today's episode. And that is, let's bring this up here. And where are we? There we are. Awesome. Okay. So let's start with Mad Hat Jerky, which actually is a great new sponsor that we have because they are also supplying the prize for today. And I'll get into that contest. But really yummy jerky, a great variety of jerkies, by the way, all natural. The recipe was, well, this is created by a young man. Well, not so young. I think he's a teenager now, but it was 11 years old when he won a statewide competition, beef jerky competition, and this stuff is just delicious. You can get a free sample if you use my code, and there's a QR code right there. And then you can, if you sign up for Mad Hat Jerky and get any of the packages, if you use code Moondog, you get 20% off. Use the QR code that you're seeing out there and try a free sample. He's got a free sample pack of his jerky. I think it was original and spicy, and I forget what the third variety is in the sampler pack. Sample packs are free. You just have to pay for shipping, and it's not one of those jacked up shipping costs that some sort of scammier companies out there that would profess to offer you a free sample of something, and then the shipping and handling is like $15-20. No, it's like $5 of shipping, I believe, is which is to be honest, with packaging nowadays, that's pretty dirt cheap. Some of you have already taken advantage of that. If you have, please let me know on the side there. Oh wait, here, Pick already said great jerky. Bought the sample and won a bag, ate them, and they will go way too fast. Going to order more soon. Very good, excellent. So I hope you make use of the QR code out there along, just like Pick did there. Oh, here we go. Sample shipping was less than $3. I thank you for correcting me there. So yeah, very, very reasonable, $3. So it's great jerky. And our next sponsor is Aura, which is an online cybersecurity company that I use to help protect me when I'm on the web, especially nowadays with everybody shopping. There's many places, oftentimes you're shopping, you're not even thinking about it on your phone. You're using the mall Wi-Fi or whatever. You don't know. Most of the times that stuff isn't secured as high in terms of the hackability of that network. Well, sometimes if you're logging in to some places, somebody could be electronically sniffing the data that's going into the mall Wi-Fi from your phone. So it's best to use as much cybersecurity as you can. Use Aura. They offer a whole suite, including a VPN, virtual private network, that helps keep you secure and safer when you are on public Wi-Fi. But my favorite feature is their data broker removal service, which gets your name off of all of that's how people get your name for all those spam lists, the spam emails you get. Your information is bought and sold by these companies to marketeers, to political organizations, to the government, who knows who. You can buy people's information from data brokers. And the only way to get yourself off is to go to each individual company. There's hundreds of them out there, and formally request to have your data removed. Or if you use Aura, you can just by a press of a button, you can authorize them to contact all of these data brokers for you. And I got myself off of over 30 data brokers inside of a week. So try them out. Use my code aura.com/moondog for 14-day free trial. And during those 14 days, you could use the data broker removal service and get yourself off of so much stuff. So definitely try them out. Okay. So talking about the contest from Mad Hat Jerky, that you can win this. What do we got today? We have gourmet flank spicy roasted garlic. And I've tried this. It is great. The garlic really adds even more richness to the jerky flavor. And you could win one of these. Here's your visual clue, your early bird clue to everybody who's on the show right now. This is the company's logo. And if you know this company, put in a hashtag symbol and write in the company's name in the comments, and the StreamYard software will automatically put you into the drawing to win this jerky. And I'll send this out to you after the show. So put in a hashtag, the name of the company, And for here's the additional clue: it is a record company, and it goes along with the theme of today's topic of the show. All right, and I'll give you some more clues as the show winds on. All right, I want to go over some of the videos I've posted on my 3 channels that I have, and the one I have here is if you can look at that, if you can see that, it is a bolt action upper for an AR. That's right. There's these things, these exist. So you can easily, as easy as you can swap out an upper on an AR, because it is a modular system, you can take off. This one bolts or connects right down onto your regular off the shelf AR lower, and it comes in a variety of calibers. So if, depending on, like, let's say if you live in a state that requires a straight wall cartridge to go deer hunting, well, you don't have to buy a separate rifle, or if you just want to be able to use your fancy trigger, but you want to have a cartridge that goes long range, well, you can get a 6.5 Creedmoor upper, or a 308 upper, or a whole variety of different uppers. Actually, let me correct that. Not for this one, because it would stand and fit on an AR lower. But you'd get, what would you get? You get a 6.5 Grendel. That would fit on an AR lower. That's correct. And they also have you know what? I don't want to misquote them, but in any case, go to, check out the video. You'll find links to Bear Creek Arsenal. They make all these great uppers. Let me look this up, because I don't want to give you some wrong information about the different uppers that they have. And bolt action style. So they have AR bolt action style. So what do they have available currently? Well, obviously you can get a 5.56 upper, which is the standard, right? And you can get 300 blackout, which is great for, you can use that as deer hunting round. What else do they have? They've got 400 legend, 7.62 by 39, which is the, your AK round. And I have the what I have here is the 5.6 Grendel, or 6.5 Grendel, a little bit of a dyslexia there. Sorry, 350 legend. You can also get 22 arc. Yeah, so a whole bunch of different calibers. So if you want to try those calibers in your AR, your standard AR, just you can try out Bear Creek Arsenal. What I have to say, and I'll show you this little just video here. Let's give you a taste of this. No, you're not seeing things. This is a bolt action AR. Specifically, this is a BC-15 bolt action AR upper, chambered in 6.5 Grendel, and it's made by Bear Creek Arsenal. Let's skip the boring unboxing videos and just take a look at what you get inside the box. So that is what I converted to my regular 5.56 AR, and I was trying out 6.5 Grendel, which is a round that has a larger bullet, obviously, and also is designed to give you a little longer. Has a bullet with a better ballistic coefficient, so it's more accurate at long range. A lot more expensive, I gotta say, per round. But if you're trying to stretch things out, not quite at 6.5 Creedmoor distance, but to get a lot more accuracy at say 500 yards, 300 yards, that is a great caliber to use. And I gotta say, from my testing of this particular upper, though, it has a reputation for having a very rough action out of the box. It does, and I can attest. You can see in the video, I was struggling to get that bolt open reliably throughout the entire video. So it's definitely a testament to a lot of the reports you get back of this. But from what I hear, though, from a lot of the feedback in the video, that the action does get better after you break it in. But breaking in means at least probably 200 rounds. So yeah, I think I'm going to take a Dremel and a sponge head and some toothpaste and polish the heck out of the lugs on that, just to smooth them out. And I gotta say, just looking at the testing out and touching the lugs when I got it out of the box. The cuts were pretty sharp on that thing, so they didn't spend a lot of time after milling the parts. Um, so I don't know why they don't. I know they're always trying to be the cheapest out there, but they really don't have that much competition aside from oh gosh, I forget the other company that makes a bolt action upper that starts with a U. But that's like over $1,000 or something like that. And yeah, you'd think they would just spend another, like, hire some guy, hire Joe out there who's working $15-20 an hour, and have him just take a nice polishing a polishing wheel or something, and just smooth the heck out of those lugs. What is it going to cost? Another $5-10 in terms of per unit cost on that thing, and then you wouldn't have to deal with all of the complaints of people, struggling with that bolt. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm not the CEO of Bear Creek Arsenal, but I do appreciate them sending one out for me to test it. Okay, let's move on. On my reviews channel, my gadget reviews channel, Moondog Reviews, I reviewed a new EDC flashlight from Olight, which I'm currently doing a long-term test, practical test on. As you can see here, this is the one, and it is a great little EDC light. I really like the form factor, and I thought I wouldn't like something necessarily this large and heavy as my EDC light, because it's really almost the size of a utility duty light in my back pocket, but actually it's pretty comfortable. And what's great about this is not only does it have all the features of the original Arcfeld Pro, but they've added more features. Like, for example, they've kept the laser, they've kept the UV light, and they've added the ability to charge this directly with USB, and they've added an option to switch this from spot to flood mode in terms of the beam pattern. So yeah, it's everything and more. So it almost makes me wonder, like, why would you even want the original, even though that's great? I have that still too, and it's my go-to flashlight. But this the new Arc Pro is, I can't fault it for really anything. It's a great flashlight. Here, let me show you a little. Here's Michael Dunn says, I love Olights. I've got the UV light one. Here we go. Is the Olight Arc Pro. This is the Arc Pro, and we have it on low mode, and you can clearly see the hotspot projected onto the doorway there. It looks about 2.5 feet wide at this distance of about 10 feet. And I'm going to cycle through the different brightness modes, starting with low, medium, and high. And I'm going to double tap for turbo mode. And I'm going to switch this over to flood mode. And that is quite a difference in terms of beam pattern here. Here we have it on low, on spot mode, medium, high. You can see it goes up to the high, definitely goes all the way out to 120 feet or more. You can easily reach out to the telephone pole. Yeah, they're doing some. They're renovating the house that's right next to that telephone pole. But you can hear them working with the bandsaw, I guess, from that distance. Anyway, great light, and I am confirming this with Olight, but hopefully they will be on board to be the next prize sponsor for next month. So you'll find out more about that. Oh, and of course, we'll be talking about the new contests that are coming up. Congratulations to all the folks who've won this month or from last month's contest, who won the Noblex red dot in last week's episode. And I got to remind everybody, I'll remind you at the end too, that this contest to win this 2,000 lumen, I was going to say 3,000, but in reality, the output of this is closer to 3,000 lumen. So you can win this 2,000 lumen flashlight. It is made by Hotlie, And for some reason, and I kind of I think I know the reason why, I've had very few entries to win this, even though this is in my testing, this is a really good, this performs really well. It's kind of like a beefed up version of the Arkfeld in a way, because it has that sort of flattened form factor. It is quite a bit bigger overall. So a little bit shorter, but as you can see, it's about twice as wide, and outputs twice as much lumens on this thing. But I accidentally posted the wrong congratulations on that page to enter, and it looked like somebody had already won it, and that wasn't the case. So I took that off after I looked at it, the entry page again. So if you happen to want to try to enter like a week or two ago and saw that message and thought that the contest was over, it isn't. So there's still an opportunity to enter the contest to win this. So go ahead and go and enter. Oh, by the way, they've got these new graphics up here, and let's see. Let me bring this up here. There you go. Check that out. On the corner there, it's a QR code. If you hit that QR code, you can go to the contest page and learn more about the contest and how to enter to win this flashlight. Okay. And on my Moondog Go channel, I posted up. Actually, I posted this up accidentally 2 videos on the same weekend, but this is the quick walkthrough through the Metropolitan Museum of Art's medieval wing, and it's actually one of this little short is one of the most popular shorts I've posted this month. I got a bunch of views on this, and I suspect it's because of the music that I used. Let's see on the side in the comments here, who can identify this where this music comes from. If you're a gamer, you should recognize this music. Okay, I guess we don't have a lot of gamers on the side chat right now, but we do have a few folks on the chat. So Pick says Vikings, nope, but kind of some similar vibe. We got Dale Pogue, we got Michael Dunn, and I thought I saw Lee earlier, but I guess not. No, I think it was is Michael Dunn's. It was Michael Dunn on there because I thought I saw a car, but it is his thumbnail. But anyway, that music is from the video game Halo. So, all right. So this is the part where I want to share a thumbnail of an upcoming video that's going to be releasing this week, and I'd like to get your input as to what you think would be a good thumbnail headline for this. So this is going to be a review of the new Claris XT11 GT Pro, and it's I know that's not a great name. It doesn't fall off the tongue very easily, and yeah, but that is what it is. It's the XT model XT11 GT Pro, and it is a very bright light. It's over 3,000 lumens output. It is a tactical flashlight, sort of a standard round tactical light. It's got glass breaker. It has everything that you'd want for a duty light in terms of features. It's got dual controls at the end, so you have your main clicky button that can activate directly into its turbo beam, and you have your alternate control on the edge that you can control and to go into low, medium, high mode. So if you need to read notes or something, you don't necessarily have to have a blinding light immediately, but it can also go into signal mode as well as strobe. And it uses a standard 18650 battery as well, so user replaceable. So it's a great flashlight. Anyway, if you have an idea of what would be a good headline for that, and right now I'm going with extra and highlighting the XT as a reference to the name. But perhaps you have a better idea for a good headline for this particular tactical light. If you do, just type it into the side chat comment section. Or if you're watching this later, you could always put this into the comment section. And then, if I have time, depending on when you post it, I'd like to post up the video. I'm planning on posting up the video this Saturday. So if you can post it up before Saturday, then I can add it to the slew of thumbnails that I'll be using in the thumbnail test. And what YouTube does is allow me to upload up to 3 different options for a thumbnail, and it'll randomly show one of the random thumbnails, or one of the 3 thumbnails randomly when it shows thumbnails to people. And based on everybody's reaction, whether they click on a thumbnail or not, I get the feedback of which thumbnail is more successful in catching people's attention, as well as getting them to click and watch the video. So anyway, if you have your thoughts, post them or leave a comment. Thanks. All right. So here's our next clue to this mystery brand, to win Mad Hat Gourmet Flank Spicy Roasted Garlic Jerky. So here's a clue. This American record company was founded in 1889. Can you believe that? 1889. Yes, there were audio records back in 1889. And this is the oldest continuously operating brand in the recording music industry. It derives its name from its early headquarters in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., and put out notable records by jazz greats such as Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, Dave Brubeck, as well as pop artists such as Frank Sinatra, Benny Goodman, Aretha Franklin, and Bruce Springsteen. So if you know which record company this is, and there's a big clue in the first paragraph there. It gets its name from Washington, D.C. So if you know who this is, put a hashtag and the name. Doesn't have to be capitalized. Hashtag in the name, put it in the side chat, and the software will automatically record your entry, and we'll do a drawing at the end of the show. And let me just make sure that our guest has our link. Yeah. I'm going to text him right now, because he's not yet on the show, but hopefully he's watching this and joins up. Oh, we have some new folks who've joined us. We have Moachi. We got Tim Mooney. We got Vadim. And we have the Chaz now. So there you go. Yeah. So hopefully the Chaz now will be able to log in and join the chat, because he's our special guest today. So I don't see him in the green room yet. So hopefully he has the link that I sent him earlier. If not, I will. Let's see. I'll send it to him. I'll have to email this over to him, and hopefully he gets this. And I'm vamping here. That's a jazz term. And hopefully he can join us. Oh wait, I heard a little click. There, I see him. Okay, good. He does have the link. Let me give a little intro to our special guests tonight. And we're going to get down the rabbit hole here. So we're going to talk about Christmas music today. So unless you happen to be listening to Mariah Carey or Wham or Ariana Grande, chances are the music that you're listening to on the radio this Christmas season is probably actually going to be music from the 40s or 50s. And more than likely than not, they were created by a jazz composer and often performed by a famous jazz artist. And talking about that phenomenon, I wanted to bring along somebody on the show who's a much more of an expert on this than I am, who is a jazz musician as well as a advertising creative director and my former writing partner, copywriter writing partner, Adam Chasnow. So let me bring on to the stage Adam. How are you, buddy?
Hey, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you quite clearly. Yeah. You're a very austere background right now.
Yeah, well, it's better than the actual background, so. I
Fair enough.
wanted to do something a little more festive, but I had to switch to Chrome at the last second. So yeah, and also Tom, I changed some stuff in the slides. So I don't know if you have to go in and out of the slides for that to
Oh,
be
okay, yeah.
effective.
So let me actually, I'll have to do that. But why don't you, while I'm doing that, why don't you give the folks a little background bio on you, and then
Yeah,
I'll
sure, sure.
delete and
I
reload.
mean, I am a advertising copywriter, creative director. I worked with Moondog a long time ago at an ad agency in New York on Madison Avenue when ad
Uh-huh.
agencies were still on Madison Avenue. And we did a lot of national and international campaigns together. And part of what I really liked as part of doing advertising was the music part of it. And we
Yeah.
got to do a lot of great music with some real jazz musicians for a campaign we did for Amtrak. And that's really when they would bring in live musicians to do the
Right.
soundtracks to
Yeah.
commercials in big studios and at big expense. But it was also very kind of a magical thing to go to a recording session. And being a fan of, I'm also kind of what I call myself a nonprofit jazz trumpet player, which is I have for my whole life have kind of really been studied jazz and love jazz trumpet, and to this day I still play as in some groups. It was exciting to go to those sessions and see some like legendary jazz musicians coming to do commercials, because that was like amazing work for them, at the time, and today there really is no work like that anymore because it's all digital sampling and things like that.
Yeah. In
But
fact, one of the
go
places
ahead.
we recorded was the Electric Ladyland Studios, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
If I
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
So it was exciting, and my love for music, it's going to come up in this talk because we're talking about jazz Christmas music, which really kind of came about in the 1950s, really, and the heart of it is still, even if it's still made today. I'll talk about this a little bit with you guys. It's still kind of based on that era of the 40s and 50s, even if people re-record it now, and there's a lot of reasons for this. I think people like the nostalgia when it
Yeah.
comes to the holiday time. They kind of want to escape from today and go back to a kinder, gentler time. And I think music is a quick express train to going back to when things were just more traditional and 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 easier, and the soundtrack to your modern life can change when you put it to the music of yesterday. It's a very interesting thing to look at. So
Absolutely. And even in that period, when let's say if it was put out in the 50s, a lot of the lyrics of the songs were harkening back to things that are like a turn of the century, or like
right,
that whole
right, right.
point of like simpler times. So like being on a sleigh, like who
Yeah, yeah,
actually goes
sure.
around in a sleigh, right? So
And we have things that every year we watch It's a Wonderful Life, and we
mhm.
watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and things are, that's different. That's probably from the made in the 70s, I would imagine. But when It's a Wonderful Life, clearly from back in that period we were talking about earlier, and the music is still kind of set there, and it's a really interesting thing when it comes to Christmas music. There's like a canon of Christmas music, and in the jazz world, they like to put a new spin on music anyway, so it doesn't make the music feel old because there's so many new interpretations of it. But it is still mainly music. Every now, from back then, every now and then somebody tries to get a new song into the canon, and we'll talk about that too.
Okay. Let me know if you want me to put on this when you want me to put on the
Yeah,
slides.
let's put on the first slide. We can start
Oh,
talking.
sure. Yeah.
So that's actually, I have a jukebox like that, exact model. It's a Seberg
Oh,
HR
nice.
100, and I found this image of this with the Christmas tree. But that's like, the music industry was pretty big back when you could buy records and things like that. And if you go to the next page, like the 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 oldest Christmas song in the world is a song called Jesus Refulsit Aminum. Now, we're not allowed to play any music on this show, but I can play it for you. Now, I just learned about this song today, but it's a very simple song, and it's, from 310 AD, and I'll just play a few bars of it. So very traditional kind of church hymn. I don't know if I don't know how the microphone handled the trumpet there just now. So
it just sounded good. I mean, the mic was a little it was clipping a little bit, but otherwise
overmodulating. Yeah, there's and trumpets have special mics in recording studios anyway. But if we go to the next thing, and we can talk about that, because the original Christmas songs were, we all know about Christmas carolers, and basically what carolers did was they sang prayers. Like "Joy to the World," that comes straight from the Old Testament, and everyone knows the song "Joy to the World." Like
Joy to.
So that became, and we've all seen these carolers throughout movies and things like that, and to this day people still do it. It's really kind of a nice, that really takes you back to like old into black and white movies, and it's a great thing. So, but then the music, if you go to the next thing, Tom, like the Christmas music, when it started getting popular, was generating about $180 million annually, and that's just during between Thanksgiving and
that's a lot.
New Year's, and that's a lot of money. And you look at some of these songs, Holly Jolly Christmas, Jingle Bells for sure, Jingle Bell Rock. These are not all jazz songs. Christmas song, Nat King Cole, which is beautiful song. I mean, that made a ton of money, but it made a ton of money not just in music record sales, which it did. People bought 45s, and that's what people did, but also from radio play, the royalties that it would make. And then also sheet music was a real big thing, because people played piano at home, before they really had hi-fi systems. You created your own music, and it was a big period, and it's still very much a very profitable thing, and everybody wants to get a piece of it. So if you move to the next thing, really, we'll get into the jazz stuff. So what most people know is the song "White Christmas." I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, and that's an interesting song, because it was from the 1942 movie Holiday Inn, and it was written by Irving Berlin. And I read he was shooting that in LA, and he wanted to go home and see his family, but he couldn't, so he wrote this song. And Bing Crosby sang it in that 42 song. It became an instant classic, and then still to this day, the best-selling single of all time. And then later they actually did a film about it, about 15 years later. So that's still the biggest song in Christmas. But if you move on, and we'll just get into the jazz part of it soon, this shows you the songs from the 50s are really the songs that are still the biggest songs in jazz. So you start out with in the 1930s, Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Yeah.
But Bruce Springsteen's covered that, in the last, memory. But then you have other songs, White Christmas, I'll Be Home for Christmas, Chestnuts Roasting in an Open Flame, which is the Christmas song that Nat King Cole sang. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You got Frosty the Snowman, Silver Bells, Sleigh Ride, Blue Christmas, Jingle Bell Rock. A lot of really great songs. And then in the 60s, a couple songs made it into the canon.
Jolly.
That's Holly Jolly Christmas, and It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, which is famous. And then the 70s, Feliz Navidad. But it's really been almost impossible, with the exception of Mariah Carey, to break into the Christmas canon with a new song. Now, you got guys like Michael Bublé, who I don't feature on and we haven't even talked about this show. I have a Christmas playlist that I've been working on for about 10 years, maybe 15 years. and every year I would add to it on Spotify, and I would really dig around to find music that would be appropriate for jazz Christmas. And it's up to 20 hours of music, and it's basically these songs played by jazz musicians, whether it's sung or whether it's sung or whether it's played by instrumental. It's the same stuff over and over again. But now, every now and then someone tries to do it. But I was just wanted to, since we can't really play the music here, the playlist, and we can put a link out to the playlist clearly because it's a public Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you move on, I'll just show you. I mean, this is the first record that I was ever exposed to, called Jingle Bell Jazz. And that first song, and it was a Herbie Hancock song. So that's like a jazzy version of Deck the Halls, and that was played by Herbie, and Freddie Hubbard was on trumpet, and I loved that. I was a kid. I got this on a cassette, and what record companies were doing at that time was they were just getting some of their artists from their roster to do a single song here and there, and they'd put out a compilation every year. So you can see here, you've got Miles Davis, Lionel Hampton, Chico Hamilton. There's a list of things here. And that's how I was really exposed to jazz Christmas music, from this exact record, Jingle Bell Jazz. Now these records, you can find this on Spotify still, but they've also, every year they're creating more and more compilations and also just playlists from the record companies. But then there's plenty of people like me who put out their own lists. And that's where I find a lot of my music for other people's compilations and things like that. And the Spotify playlist creation software has gotten way, way better over the years, where it'll tell you if something you have is kind of already in there, if it's, when you're on something else. But inevitably with Christmas music, there's so many versions of the same song that you do have duplicates there. But and then if you move on, I'll just start to show you, like, and that's what that record, Sinatra did his own. Then people were starting to do their own records, like full records, to try to get a piece of this pie.
Get a piece of the action for Christmas.
Yeah, for sure. And then if you just scroll through some of these, I'll just comment on them. Ella Fitzgerald had a record on Verve, Swinging Christmas, really brilliant work, by her and a big band and stuff. And then even Miles Davis, who, it's interesting, you got this Columbia logo in the contest, but the Miles Davis, you would think, would not want to participate in something like this. He was so cool. And he did do a song, Blue Christmas, which is really actually a very cool song. So, and then they put it out as a single. If you move on, like, let's see, this is a very, very famous.
Yes.
And a lot of Christmas songs, not in the jazz canon, but Christmas songs like White Christmas, and also the Mariah Carey song, they became famous because that was in Love Actually, her song. But the Charlie Brown Christmas thing on CBS was legendary, and it created a whole, probably one of the best-selling jazz records ever, Vince Guaraldi, which is I believe a jazz pianist from the Bay Area. I believe. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
Not a heralded jazz pianist. Not that he wasn't good. He just wasn't. But super famous because of this record, and it's a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack to Christmas. I mean, it's timeless. So that's one of the most famous records of Christmas music and jazz. And then you move on. I mean, there's that one song on that record, Christmas time of year. It's beautiful, like just a beautiful song. Chet Baker, a lot of people, he kind of crossed over into pop culture. He even does a record, on the holidays, and he's a singer, so that was pretty cool. And the Rat Pack, you see a lot of them. Those guys are great at singing the holidays and make it fun, and they bring in big bands. And this is clearly a compilation that they put together later. But and it's the kind of thing where you throw in a recording session. Hey, can we let's do a Christmas tune at the end of the recording session?
Yeah.
It's always funny because people are recording these things usually in the summer, just like in advertising where we'd be making the holiday ads at the wrong time. I did see on Facebook, the University of North Texas, which has a very famous jazz ensemble, they were recording a Christmas album for next year, I believe, right now, or recently, which is kind of a cool thing to do, to be in the spirit of it when you're actually making the music.
Yeah, there was a story, a famous story. I don't know how accurate it is, but I heard it when I was in Nashville, and it was in Memphis, regarding Elvis recording his Christmas, Blue Christmas, and we had recorded in the middle of summer. And to get into the mood, he had everybody bring in Christmas lights to the recording studio just to get into the mood.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the thing. You're trying to create snow in the summer. It's always a problem. But with the car industry, we couldn't do it because the car wasn't available at that point. They didn't have the car. But this is another record here. This is another compilation, actually. But some interesting artists here, like Elvin Jones, who was John Coltrane's drummer, doing a Christmas song, and Larry Vukovic, who is a Serbian jazz pianist from the Bay Area, actually, who I know through Vaso Novakovic, who was a good friend of his and always tried to introduce me to him. I'm not sure what Larry's story is. I don't know where he is now. I'd have to check that. But, it's an interesting thing. Everybody gets a piece of this kind of Christmas music. Everyone wants to do something. And I think it's partially because we all want to be part of the holidays for people. I don't think jazz musicians were really thinking they were going to get rich off of Christmas like Mariah Carey, but there are some like Nora Jones and people like that have made some significant Christmas records, that sell. You can move on.
I hope Vince. I hope Vince Guaraldi actually gets a piece of the royalties on that, and it wasn't just like a session thing.
Yeah, no, I think he does. I think he did. And that's, that's a real thing. Wynton, at a very early age, if you know Wynton Marsalis, a great trumpet player, he was probably made his first record in 1984 or something like that. He was Prodigy from New Orleans, made this record, Crescent City Christmas Card, which was one of the earlier ones that I was introduced to after the jazz, the first one. Because I was a fan of his, and he did some pretty cool New Orleans arrangements, and my son Theo, he goes to college in New Orleans, and, the way that music sounds, New Orleans Christmas music, it's really cool. It's very original. It's got this kind of, this beat, da, 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 so, but he also did some really spiritual kind of music. There's a great record to check out if you want.
All right, I'm gonna post up. I was able to get the link that you sent me for your Spotify playlist for Christmas. Hopefully this is the correct one, but I'm posting it up on the side chat for everybody.
Right. Please enjoy that. And then this is just another compilation. Let it swing. We can move past this. I wanted to talk about something. So this is something interesting. Colbert, obviously he's going to be off the air in a year, but when he had that other show, the Colbert Report, he played more of a traditional conservative kind of host. He did a recording, unless I'm not sure if he was on that show or he had his late night show at the time. It doesn't matter. He also had like the Seth Meyers show at one point or something like, or he had a couple of shows, but he did a thing called the Stephen Colbert Christmas Special, which was really in the style. I mean, that's a whole other topic for another year, like TV Christmas
specials,
variety shows that were outstanding with like a host like this. And then he'd have famous people like Carol Burnett come on, or a singer would come on, or Simon and Garfunkel would come on. And it was a variety show. He did kind of a spoof of that, but really had some pretty good guests on it. And he wrote a song called Another Christmas Song. And I want to show you guys the lyrics to this because it was really kind of meta. And we'll go back to those guys in a second. But it was like, ho, it's another Christmas song. Whoa, get ready, brother, for another Christmas song. They play for a month ad infinitum. One day it struck me someone must write them. So it's another Christmas song. So he would do this stuff and he'd talk about funny stuff. And then he's like, at the end, he would say, um, hey, in the middle, hey, it's another Christmas song. Yay, another oft returning royalty earning Christmas song. I've got plenty more, so go buy a modem. Log on to iTunes and pay to download them. Pay for another Christmas song. So really a meta story about I'm trying to get a song into the canon. And that's when I said, I'm going to include that on my playlist because I love and it was done in the style of, and he's actually a very good singer, Colbert. And then if you go back to this guy, this is a young trumpet player, this guy right here, Benny Benack III, who I really love his playing, and he's a great singer, tremendous jazz crooner, but can play trumpet, just at such a high level, and it's very accessible music. It's really high level jazz, but it doesn't go over everyone's head, like a lot of jazz can, even though he's more than capable of doing that kind of thing. He did a big band record with this guy, Steve Feifke, who's, and they based the cover that you can see Benny's wearing a Santa hat and he's wearing like a Hanukkah hat, Hanukkah Harry's hat. And this cover of this record is based off of the next record there, which is a famous Count Basie. It's just Count Basie and Frank Sinatra, which was not a Christmas record. But Benny has written a song that my son and daughter and their mom really love as well, which I have the lyrics to. And it's really funny. And he's been performing it live lately. And I had a friend who just saw Benny's band play in Connecticut at a jazz club. And he reminded me, he played this song. And the song reminded us of a famous jazz trumpet player singer named Jack Sheldon, who also sang the theme to Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this is very much in that genre. If you go back to the lyrics, because I'll just it's like, there's an intro all throughout the summertime. My girlfriend is the best. She spends all her time with me. We barely ever rest. But when the season turns to snow, my girl I cannot find. I ask myself, where does she go? Now the answer's on my mind. And then it goes into this. I think my girlfriend is an elf. I know I shouldn't cry, but I just can't help myself. I'm a curious guy. And it's like every time when the season turns to snow, I stop and ask myself, where did my pretty baby go? I think my girlfriend is an elf working for Santa Claus this year. I think my girlfriend is a sprite. Whenever it's December, she leaves my bed at night and swears she don't remember. Just the other day, I found a hat under the bed. It had a puffy ball on top, and it was colored red. I think my girlfriend is an elf working for Santa this year. Well, every year on Christmas Eve, my girl just disappears. And to think of it, she's got some pretty big ears. So really a very funny song trying to get into the Christmas canon. And I think it's actually at a level of comedy and writing and musicality where I think at this point it is in some people's canon. It's just a very charming, very witty song. And I wish I could play it. I wish I could sing it. I'm not near a singer really. But that's really a fun one. If you listen to the playlist, check out My Girlfriend is an Elf.
All right, definitely. And I see there's some comments on here that here's one from one of your fans. I opened my Spotify account because of Jazz with Chaz.
Yeah, I mean, I used to send this around. It became a little bit like not exactly viral, but just passed around among friends and friends of friends and friends. And, that particular person who I do know, he's much of a Luddite, still doesn't have Facebook. So that was probably a big step for him to join Spotify.
Well, here's some questions that were posted for you. And I don't think you caught them, but here's one question. Why do you believe Hanukkah holiday music hasn't gotten the same traction besides, the Sandler song?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have a bunch of Hanukkah music on this playlist, and that's because I am Jewish, just to be clear. So this is a holiday playlist, but most of the songs are Christmas songs, but there's a couple of there's a lot of songs, Winter Wonderland and things like that, which are non-denominational songs, really, and then you do get to the more religious ones. But I don't know. I mean, there was a song by David Diggs 2 years ago that's on my playlist, like All I Want Is a Puppy for Hanukkah. And that was a gigantic hit because Jewish kids just didn't have songs like that. And it's a great funny song. I mean, there's a couple. There's the dreidel song, which Benny also sings on this record, which is really actually a very swinging version of, oh dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay. That song, when it's cooking with the big band, is awesome. But I mean, there's just like it's hard to get into the holiday canon. I think with the Hanukkah songs, it's still just as challenging. It's a smaller demographic. But there is, if you know about Judaism and clergy, there's a cantor that I discovered this year that made a jazz big band album as a cantor who's part of a Jewish synagogue, and inevitably cantors from Jewish synagogues are musical theater people or operatic or people like that, and the cantor at my synagogue does a kind of a Broadway show night every year, and I've been lucky enough to go to that. They're brilliant singers, so that's on there. I can't remember his name. I'll get it for you, but a very cool way to look at it. So I think there's more out there than we think, but to answer that question, it would be great to have more. And Sandler made that song a ritual because he kept updating it, which was really cool. He would updating it on the road to make it more relevant, because he's been doing that for so long, And I just read about, he wrote that with a famous comedy writer. They wrote that together. But then there was a famous story he talks about where the owner of one of the teams that he talked about was like, "I'm not Jewish, take me out of your song." It's kind of some funny stuff. And he has some moments in the song where he says people who are not Jewish and stuff. That's kind of a fun game. But I love that song. I haven't listened to that this year. You just reminded me. I'm going to put that on.
So it just occurred to me that when you were pointing out a lot of the songs are non-denominational. One way they could do it is just add the word Christmas into it, because I was thinking about the Christmas song, and most of the lyrics on there are pretty non-Christian. I mean, it's just about things that are happening.
You mean the chestnuts roasting in the old?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was what, Mel Torme, right?
That's Nat King Cole.
Yeah,
He's famous for that song. Mel Torme wrote the song.
Yeah.
Mel Torme wrote it. Mel Torme's got, and I don't know Mel Torme's background. I would guess, if I had to, if I use my Judar, that he is Jewish, and that's like a fake name, but I do not know that. So if anybody's Googling out there, I would guess that just based on the kind of singer he is.
Well, Irving Berlin, the most famous Christmas song you're mentioning right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole the songwriters. I mean, in that period, writing songs was a career. I mean, It still is for people like Meghan Trainor and people like that can write songs. But like, that was a field that people were in, writing songs to make a living. So.
Well, there got a couple other questions. I didn't realize this was your son. I thought it was. I didn't recognize it was Theo. I thought it was Theo. No. So sorry, Theo, for mispronouncing your name.
Oh, one of Theo's friends. I have that jukebox which we showed in the first page.
Mm-hmm.
And when we moved to Boulder, Colorado, we brought that. We had stored the jukebox in San Francisco, and then had it shipped out there. And in order to do that, we had to take out a lot of tubes and things. And I had a friend, Devin, who I think was commenting on this earlier, who helped me put it back together. And we got it working. And these were little kids, and they were playing like crab soccer in the house. And like River kicked the jukebox when he just missed the ball, like he did many times when he played real varsity soccer, and he kicked the jukebox, and while it was playing, and it damaged the stylus from like 1955, and that thing had survived all this moving around and all this, but that stylus, it's never really been the same since I did get a replacement stylus finally. But I'm sure that's a story that my son Theo, thanks for tuning in, wanted to hear, because I imagine River is on this thing also. And thank you, River, for letting me tell that story.
Yeah, and
I
River,
don't hold that against you.
I think that's River right there, who was asking a lot of questions, who asked a question that you actually answered without seeing the question in your commentary. Oh, and your
Motsur. Well, you mentioned Mo. Oh, good. He mentioned Motsur Yeshuati. That song. I mean, I just sang that song half an hour ago when we were lighting the candles in
great.
upstairs, and that's really Rock of Ages in Hebrew, and that song is on. That's on the playlist many times, done jazzy, a lot of different ways. So if you want to look for Motsur, it's transliterated Hebrew. It's on there. I think that was the question. How come that's still like that's a classic Hanukkah canon, but because it's Rock of Ages, which is also every religion sings that song. I'm not sure. I don't really know the history of Rock of Ages.
Yeah, well, most recently by Def Leppard, right? Anyway, this is great information, I gotta say. Thanks, Chaz. Oh,
Yeah,
and
sure,
should we
sure.
go through the
Yeah, I
last
mean,
couple
just a
of slides?
couple of other records, like singers Diana Krall, who's married to Elvis Costello, actually.
Oh yeah.
And she's I don't know how much she's I don't know how much she's performing anymore. I'm not sure, but she made a couple of records of Christmas songs, and she's a pianist. She's outstanding, outstanding. You can go to this is a woman who won the Grammy a few years ago for Best New Artist as a jazz recording artist, Samara Joy, which is unheard of really for a jazz musician, jazz singer to win that award. And she's gone on to huge stardom, and they quickly put out some Christmas music with her right away. She's amazing, amazing singer.
And you mentioned
Harry
Harry
Connick,
yeah.
he's from New Orleans also. This is a very old record. He's still around. He's an amazing jazz pianist that could also sing, and everything he touches on. There's a lot of songs of his on my playlist that are just so swinging and so worth checking out. And he's dabbled in acting and other things, and he's just he's great whatever he kind of does. And then Wynton Marsalis has the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra, which is in Jazz at Lincoln Center, and that's like the big band in this country that really is academic about making sure they cover tons of material, but also not academic in terms of the way they swing. It's just like the farthest thing from academia. So they've put out 3 records of jazz arrangements of Christmas songs. That's how much material there is. And all 3 of those records have a place on the playlist. Not the entire thing, but these records are worth. I mean, I think I show the other 2 are worth checking out. Just on a streaming service or whatever. There's one, 3, 2, and 1.
Have you added any of these pieces into your playlist, Christmas with Chaz?
Yeah. These are all on there. All 3 records have representation from there.
And we've got,
and that's them. That's the Lincoln Center Big Band, the saxophone section. And then Wynton, a few years ago, that's his daughter. She's much older now. She sang a beautiful song with him that's on the record as well. I don't remember the song right now, but you'll see it's with her. It's a beautiful, beautiful voice. That's his daughter.
Oh, that's
so nepotism gets you into the Jazz with Chaz playlist as well. That's just, but.
Well, it's a shame though. We can't play any of these because of YouTube copyright issues. But I've posted up, and I'll post it up again.
Yeah, I mean, all of you should just put on a track right now, and just while you're listening to us, listen to that at the same time. It would really be. It was hard to do this, but it was fun to do it because. I have friends that listen to this playlist from Thanksgiving through New Year's every year, and they always call me and have you updated it. And it's a kick because it's so long, you can just kind of turn it on anywhere, and you're not going to get bored of the same, boring Christmas music that you're forced to in Muzak and elevators and things like that.
Absolutely. So I want to thank Adam, Chaz, for joining us tonight and giving us this really thorough rundown of Christmas music. And I just asked him off the fly, actually, just a few days ago, as to what the topic was going to be, and it just occurred to me that hey, a lot of Christmas music has roots in jazz, and it's great that he was able to bring all this information together. And thanks for taking the time to talk about this. If there are any more questions, I'll post up. You can find information about Adam and I've included a link to his website on my notes page on my own website, and I'll post up a link to that. And I'm gonna I forgot I could put up a QR code for you folks who might be watching this. Let me bring up that asset.
And by the way, this trumpet is from 1948, which is like the height of this Christmas music season, which is interesting to me. This is a Martin Committee, which is the same trumpet that Miles Davis and Kenny Dorham and a lot of people played. And I was lucky to get my hands on one a few years ago. You can see the name.
Hold on, let me bring you up. Let me bring you up full screen.
That this is the famous trumpet, the Martin Committee. It's got a lot of lore about this horn, and it did not disappoint when I finally got my hands on one. Just such a joy to play it, and just knowing the history of who.
Well, what was the key benefit of that particular model in terms? Is it the action? Is it the tone? What?
These trumpets come in different bores, which has to do with the diameter of the trumpet until the bell.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a medium bore, which is not a size trumpet I'd ever played before, but also the metal is it's very lightweight. It doesn't have a lot of extra heavy stuff on it. Trumpets, it's a whole other thing you could get into here, but these braces really affect the sound. And it's just very easy to play and very easy to get the kind of dark sound you want when you play jazz. Not a great trumpet for people who play like classical music and things like that, but just a great easy playing trumpet. And it has some interesting stuff on it. The way it has these water keys that are like trombone water keys, so you can actually empty both of them at the same time because you can put your hand on both of them like this. It's just got some cool stuff, but it's hard to. You got to take care of it,
Well,
and there's a lot of trumpets that have been just modeled after it, like Yamaha and others have basically taken these ideas.
Right on. Well, if you have a moment, we can if you wouldn't mind helping me pick the winner for today's contest.
Sure.
Okay, let me just add this. So for those of you who don't know, there's you who are on the side chat right now, you have an opportunity to win a prize for being for watching the show here. And what it is I'm giving away a packet of Mad Hat jerky. And I know that's for those of you who aren't into like the whole country and hunting scene, you may not do jerky other than Jack Links or when you're on a road trip. But I got to say, this is legit gourmet beef jerky. It is delicious for beef jerky. And this one is the gourmet flank spicy roasted garlic variety. And you can win this. You just have to put a correct answer on the side chat here. And we've given you a bunch of clues throughout the show. But here's your final clue as to you have to type in the mystery word into the side chat, and the software will automatically, for everybody who posts the correct answer, will pull your name and put you into the drawing. So here's the final clue. Oh, sorry. Here's the final clue. This record company's eponymous music club, for those of you who don't know, eponymous means with the same name, what was the spinoff of a direct consumer mail order record business of this company. And this is a reference to for all of us who have been part of this scammy little company that promised 12 free records, tapes, or CDs if you joined. And some of us still probably still owe for one or two of those albums that you had to buy. But it taught many of us the hard way that we need to read the fine print and there is no free lunch. But if you know this record company, it is the blank music club. If you know who this, I see the correct answers. So what you need to do is you need to put the hashtag and just the first word. It's not the house part. It's the company that owned Columbia House. There should be a pretty obvious clue. So put the hashtag and the name of the company that owns Columbia House. So if you think you have the correct answer, you can just type it in now, hashtag, and you'll automatically be entered into the contest. So Theo, River, put the, and Michael Dunn. Oh, okay. Michael Dunn corrected himself. So I'll give you guys just another second or two to get that on there.
Remember, there was a little yellow box. If you did something on that yellow box, you got more.
Oh, for free. 13. Yeah.
I remember I had a girlfriend that needed to get out of that. Like there were people that, well, I never joined it. I just always was suspicious of that thing. And there was always some things that would ding them on the quality of their cassettes and stuff like that. You know, it was like a whole, but for a lot of people, that record club really exposed them to a lot of cool music at one point.
True.
Very, really interesting. Remember, this is pre-streaming and I mean, you had radio, but it had a lot of power, kind of like the Costco Wine Club or something like that. You know,
yeah,
that kind of,
yeah.
It could make an artist. Actually, it could make an artist.
Okay,
you know,
yeah, that's a good point. So for those of you who aren't necessarily into jerky, I'll also give you the opportunity. If you go to the website and if you use the QR code up there, if you go to moondogindustries.com/contest, you can enter a contest to win. I've got two prizes, two different contests going on simultaneously this month. You can win this insanely bright flashlight. It is it's not too large, but it outputs close to 3,000 lumens. Wow. So I don't know how many candela it is, but it is blindingly bright, and it's got two different emitters. So you can use it as a side light. You could just, camp light on the side, or you can use it as a regular flashlight. And it also has a, little disco mode. Very cool. So for lights on the side, I'm not sure.
Clips right onto your hat, right? It's got one of those clips, right? All that stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you could clip this onto your head or clip it onto your clothing or whatever. I think this is intended to be some sort of a signaling light, but yeah. Or if you go to a rave, there you go. So, yeah. So you can get this, you can win this flashlight in the contest. Just go to moondogindustries.com/contest and you can enter this, or also have an Aquilifire rifle scope if you are into a LPVO rifle scope. So, and there's also the yard sale that's going on my website. It's a fundraiser for my son's class trip to Washington, D.C. Got some items on there. You can make a donation to the fundraiser, and if you make it for the amount for half of for those items, I'll send you the item. So there you go. Just check it out over at moondogindustries.com/yard sale. All right. So hopefully everybody got their entries in for the contest. I'm going to add the actual contest page up here now, and we're going to draw for the giveaway. All right. So there is the mystery word, and we only got 6 entries out of all the folks in the side chat. Well, okay. So anyway, I'll give you like 5 more seconds to get to type that in, and hopefully the software will pick it up. So 3,
and
2,
that was
1.
the company that made my first jazz compilation record was from Columbia Records.
Oh, excellent. Yes, that's right. Yeah. All right. So Chaz, you want to count us down and I will hit the draw button? Oh, there, we got another entry.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, draw.
All right. Yeah, we got some last minute entries in, so that's great. Moachi, congratulations. So Moachi, what I want you to do and I'll send you the prize is okay, let me just pull that off of the screen for now. So Moachi, I'm gonna need your address. So what I want you to send me an email. I'll put my email on screen right now. Send it to contest@moondogindustries.com, and I'll post it up there for you. So send me an email, and in the email subject line, put in hashtag Columbia, so I know what the prize is for, and put in the address that you want me to mail the jerky to. And if you don't like jerky, put an address of somebody who that likes jerky, and I'll be happy to mail it to whatever address you put on there. And let me know when you get it, if I'm blowing smoke or what. But I think this is some of the best tasting jerky that's out there. Anyway, thanks again to Adam, my good buddy, for joining us today.
Yeah,
and
glad to talk about this. Thanks for having me.
No worries. And Chaz, is there anything that's going on that you'd like to share? You playing anywhere or doing anything that you'd like folks
I
to
just
check
played
out?
a couple of holiday things at the jazz school here, but no, I mean there's jazz happening. One thing we didn't talk about was there's just a lot of people performing this time of year because jazz is very associated with Christmas. So just check out a jazz club. See some music. The guy who sings the elf thing is playing Benny Benack is playing at the Black Cat in San Francisco over New Year's for like 3 or 4 days. But every city has some good jazz stuff. That famous trumpet player plays at the Blue Note every year. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name now. Anyway, Chris Bodie, he always plays over the Blue Note. There's just a lot of jazz over the holidays, so please check it out.
Oh yeah, let the folks know which jazz school. It's the Berkeley Jazz.
It's the Berkeley Jazz School, or California Jazz School, Berkeley Jazz School. Yeah, it's just a community jazz school that's some great amateur musicians there.
Well, Adam, would you mind playing us out like a Christmas tune for a one bar, and then I'll end the stream.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. God bless. Moondog and Chaz out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.